Lord for this morning's children's message. Okay. Hello, hello. All right. Okay, well, good morning, everybody. So this morning I have two questions for you, but the first one is, have you ever thought that you were going to do something and then something different happens? Has that ever happened to you? Where like maybe you thought you were going to go to a really cool park and then your parents ended up taking you to the grocery store? Like, has that ever happened to you before? Yeah? Yeah. So something similar happened to me. That happened to you today?
Yeah, because I thought I was going to stay home.
You thought you were going to stay home, but you came to church with me. Yep. Yep. That's true. So I was going to say something similar happened to me this morning, too. So I thought I was going to be doing my children's message on a gospel reading, but it turns out that we're doing our focus this morning on a reading from the Old Testament in Deuteronomy. So I had to switch up my whole children's message this morning just seconds ago. So this morning my question for you is, do you have rules at home?
Yes.
Yeah, tell me about some of those rules. What are some of the rules that you have at home? No going out after 11. Okay. Your mom's looking at you like, what are you talking about? Oh, that's a rule for mom.
That's mom.
Yeah, that's mom's rule. Okay. And then, so what are some rules that you have at home for, like, when you play with toys, you have to pick them up?
Yes.
Yeah, what?
And when I wear my ring, I need to watch it to keep it safe.
Right, when you have special toys, you don't want to lose them, so you have special places to put them. Yeah. Do you have any other rules about, like, or when you're allowed to eat dessert for meals? Yeah. Do you get to eat dessert first? No, it doesn't sound like you actually do. What do you have to do before you get your dessert at meals? You have to eat your dinner, right? Okay, so then what about, those are some rules at home. What about some rules at school? Do you have rules at your school or your daycare? Don't take your shoes off. That's a good one. Listen. Yeah, that is a big rule at school. Keep your mouth closed at school. Okay.
I have one.
Yeah.
When your teacher says be at level 0, be at level 0.
Oh, so we're talking about like volume-wise, like be at or energy-wise. When the teacher asks you to be at level 0, they want you to be at level 0 energy instead of like level 30,000. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Wyatt?
No pushing other kids.
Yeah, no pushing other kids. That's very good. So there are, and we just mentioned a few, but I'm pretty sure you have lots of rules about how you're supposed to live at home and lots of rules about how you're supposed to act at school.
And listen what the teacher says.
Yep, and listening to what the teacher says is a good one at school for sure. And so we have all these rules everywhere we go. And today, in our Bible reading that we just heard, we heard about a really important rule that God introduces to us as his people today. And that rule is that we need to love God with all of our heart, soul, and mind and strength. And so that means that no matter what we do, everything that we do should be about loving God. And that rule is later, Jesus later talks about how that rule is actually the most important one. But then there's also a second one that's a lot like it, that if you actually are loving God that way, then you're also loving everybody around you in the same way. And so our good news today is that we're reminded that even though there are lots of what are called laws in the Bible, that there are they're also known as rules. There are lots of them, lots and lots of them, like hundreds of them, of ways that we are supposed to act or how we're supposed to do things. But we're reminded today, and our good news today is that Jesus and God remind us that the number one rule and the number two rule, if we're doing both of them, then all of the other ones should be happening too. And that is, so all we really need to remember is that we need to love God with everything that we have, all of our strength, all of our soul, our mind, and our bodies. And then if we're doing that really well, then we're also loving all of our neighbors just like we love ourselves, or maybe even a little bit better. So, and with that, that's our good news today. I'd love for you to please repeat after me in prayer. Invite the congregation to join as well. Dear God, thank you for Jesus, and for rules. Please help us to remember that the most important rule is to love you. And if we do that, then everything else will work out just fine. We love you. Amen. All right, thanks for coming up, everybody.